So I turned on an anime for background noise while I worked on YouTube stuff where I didn't really want to pay attention to it, didn't think I was going to enjoy it, just wanted something that I could glance over at every once in a while. And that anime was After School Dice Club. But what I didn't anticipate is that I would actually end up watching the show and not working on the stuff for YouTube that I was planning to work on, because I really enjoyed this one. You follow a girl named Miki who is extremely introverted. She was bullied when she was growing up. She doesn't have many friends because she doesn't know how to socialize. She wants to have fun with others but doesn't know how, until she meets a girl named Aya. Aya is extremely outgoing. She's the exact opposite, and she takes Miki on this little kind of adventure where they have fun and get to know each other, and then on the way back they see another classmate of theirs, the class representative I believe, named Anyo, going into the store. They follow her into a store and it turns out that it's for board games. So they go up and they talk to her and they play a game together, they become fast friends, and them's the ropes, that's the show. Every episode after school they play another game. They explain the rules, they go over it, it's a totally different game each and every time, and it is surprisingly engaging. Sometimes they bring totally different people in so they can play games with them too. Like a guy that has a crush on Aya, his name is Shota I believe. He's one of the first ones they play a game with that isn't like an immediate part of their friend group, and then they invite him in and they start to like him, they care about him. The owner of the shop, I don't know his name, I don't remember it. They play games with him too, and he acts as kind of like a mentor, like father figure to him. He cares about these girls, and he really finds joy in seeing them have fun with board games, given that they're not very popular anymore because of video games. Another guy, Ryuji, is that his name? He ends up having a crush on Miki, so he ends up coming around and playing games with him, and they just keep adding to the list. I mean, you got the student council president ends up showing up, and he's a really cool guy, I really liked him. Then you've got Aya's sister ends up playing a game with him, and then you've got a girl that is, she's kind of like the delinquent type when she was growing up. She's kind of stepped into the role of being a big sister to Miki, since Miki's a very timid person and she's the exact opposite. They try to bring out the best in each other, where Miki is, well, meek, Maki is not. Maki is the kind of person who expects people to insult each other, and she enjoys not being the nicest person. So whenever they play a game and it's about insulting one another and Miki gives compliments instead, it's something that Maki really appreciates, and those kind of dynamics really drive this show home. Each time the two characters interact, they have a sort of chemistry that is really sweet and really wholesome. We can learn about some extremely sad backstories. We learn about the backstory of Miki being bullied, but then we also learn that Maki had a part in that, and it was a part that you may not have expected. We learn about Aya and her dad, how she really loves him and really appreciates him, but he's not the kind of father figure that you would think that she would have. The last episode is extremely depressing. We get to see Miki and her fears because life is moving on. I mean, once school ends or class ends or things change from one grade to the next, that's hard. That's hard because you don't know if you're going to be friends with the same people next year, if you'll have classes with them, if you'll see them again. And it's something that really scared her, and it's something that I really resonated with. It was probably the best episode in the series, if we're being completely honest, just because of the symbolism and how we get to see how Miki acted before we met her and before she met these girls. It was really deep in a way that is digestible. It wasn't forcing in flashbacks like a lot of anime do. Instead, it was relying on who we know her as now and how that differentiates between how she is acting in this moment, how she is regressing to how she acted before due to the fear that she's gonna be alone again. That's not the kind of topics that I expect shows like this to really tackle, especially in a way that works like this. Sorry, my voice is giving out. But just because the Dice Club is after school doesn't mean that we only see them after school. We get to actually see them interact with people within class. We get to see them take their new love and their new passion for board games and bring that into a school setting for people that they didn't necessarily think would even care. We get to see how board games affect the lives of the people that work in the shop, who dedicate themselves to something that they love, and how they want to take that passion to the next level. One of the girls wants to be a game designer. I mean, you can probably guess which one, but she meets someone who is a game designer, and he becomes kind of like a rival to her. He's an older man, obviously. He owns his own company, or at least works at a company, and he is experienced in game design. So whenever she shows off her game, he tells her that she can't make a game alone, and she gets a offended and wants to prove him wrong, so she then makes the game by herself, tries to play it with others, and then realizes that what matters is how your audience feels about your game, not just how you feel, because you are biased. You made the game. You're going to enjoy your own game because you put your heart into it. But if others don't enjoy it, then what's the point? What is the point of a board game that no one but you can enjoy, especially when you make it for more than one player? And those are the kinds of lessons that don't have to just apply to board games. They can apply to a lot of things. They apply to my channel right now. I'm making this video and I don't know if anybody's gonna like it or not, but I'm just making it because I cared about this show and I want you to care about it too. But if you don't like how I edit, if you don't like my scripted videos or you don't like my unscripted videos, and I don't take that feedback into consideration, then I'm not going to improve as a creator. And that's what this girl is, a creator. Instead of this just being another cute girls do cute things type of show, it is one that still tries to have lessons that are applicable to whoever is watching, while also establishing a bond between these girls we can really relate to, we can really get behind, and it really helps drive the fact home that these are characters. Instead of they're just cute girls, they all have different personalities. They all have different reasons for living, different reasons for playing games, different reasons for making friends, different ways that they even perceive each other's friendships. Some of them are more aware of the people around them because they're introverted and they're worried about those people, but the more extroverted characters, even though they're able to pick up on some subtle hints, they completely miss the mark when it comes to trying to figure out what those hints are actually hinting at. They can get close, but they don't completely get it right like the introverted character does that shuts their mouth and pays attention. And sure, that is cliche, that is tropey, that is a stereotype, but stereotypes are built around actual reality. Something has to happen for the stereotype to be made, and it has to happen enough times to be accepted as a stereotype. So even though tropes and cliches can be a bad thing, they can be overused, they can be all a character is, they instead help the characters by making them more clearly defined in this show. They can do things that are outside of what you expect from them because they're not just tropes and cliches. Instead, they have tropey and cliche personality traits, and yet they exist beyond that. I hope that made sense because it did to me in my head, but then it came out loud and God only knows. Anyway, I think this show is severely underrated given I never actually heard of it until I went out of my way to watch it. And I think that that is actually a shame. It is a short, compact, 12-episode experience where every episode feels different enough from one another that it never actually gets stale. I really enjoyed the interactions between the I really enjoyed the interactions between the characters. I really enjoyed the board games that they played. I really enjoyed whenever they went out of their way and did something that was completely out of their comfort zone and learned that it was not that bad once they did it. Whenever they had like a board game cafe, that was really cool. Usually anime go the route of a Maid cafe and it's the same thing over and over again, but this board game kind of cafe was something where people could go in and they could sit down and they could learn how to play board games with people that enjoy them. They could pick up on games that they otherwise wouldn't know. They could learn something they otherwise wouldn't do. They could enjoy something that they never would have given a chance. And these girls who never shared this passion with anybody else before they shared it with one another or learned that they had it because of the moments they spent together, got to share it with everyone. And that kind of crap, that's really sweet. That is really wholesome. Once you see that extroverted, happy character that has been the joy and the light and the freaking energy in every situation break down and cry, that hits hard, and they do a really good job handling it here. They may only have 12 episodes, but every character felt clearly defined. Even whenever they bring in a new one halfway through, a German girl named, what was her name? Crap. I think it's like Amelia. I think it's Emilia, or Emmy, or Emily, something like that, okay? Whenever they bring her into the show, she blends with the rest of them nicely. She has good chemistry with the rest of the cast, and she kind of feels like an extension of them, like she's been there the entire time, like she belongs. And usually when they just throw new characters into the dynamic, especially characters that have very similar personality traits and dreams to some of the other girls in the group, that can be very off-putting, but it wasn't here. I enjoyed her character, I liked her, I cared about her, and I could feel like she cared about the other characters and that they cared about her. It's just a really nice and wholesome show that I wanted to rant about for a little bit, so if you made it this far, thank you so much. Subscribe, and for more news, reviews, and whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed. Have a great day. Thank you.